we're going to, can you see that building there? Company called IL BAGNO. The company, they're the one. I come and speak to them about my story. They specialize in business. And they don't do for the low end, they do for the very high end. They don't know what's about to happen to them. They have no idea.
Down with the pack, I roll. Up with the sack, and you know that I deserve it. Half and half when we split the perks. Yeah, the preacher man said, please remember that your savior's on the way. I still remember when the teacher man said, I wouldn't make it, but I made it anyway. I remember saying,
how are you, sir? Let me just see off my friend. I'll be with you in a second.
It wasn't easy. Right now, everything is amazing. Steady dropping them logos. Them are taking my photo. I remember that they telling me no, no. Right now, everything is global. Steady dropping them logos. Them are taking my photo.
This is one of the numbers and writing and probably calling you. It's good to meet you. And what will you be ready for?
up with the weights, I work. Down with the pack, I roll. Up with the sack, and you know that I deserve it. Half and half when we split the perks.
So I started the business with my driver, one youth cover, and a receptionist. And that was it. So there were 4 of us that started in 2004. Today there are about 135 of us. When I talk to my team, I try to let them learn from my own story. But a few years ago we said I thought it was important that they learn from the stories of others as well, because maybe they think, I'm talking to them only because I'm an employer. So I said, okay, let them listen to somebody who is impartial, somebody else. And the idea is to impact the lives of people coming behind. To say to them that, you know what, no matter what your origin, it's possible to do well. It's not difficult.
Because if you go to any hotel, I don't go to a hotel because of the bed.
Of course.
It's just the business.
Yes. Exactly.
That's why.
And you're not the hero.
Yes. Because once I enter that bedroom, that's where I stay.
That's when you relax.
That's where I calm down and I take my time.
That's what it is. And the applications are endless. Hotels, homes, offices, prisons, schools. There's no one, if you build a room for your megad, you put a toilet. There's no one place that, where human beings that doesn't require a bathroom. Not one.
So first of all, that market is there.
No, we've not even started, to be honest.
Moshe, thanks for the opportunity to come.
No, I should thank you for accepting to talk to my guy.
Because I cannot look at myself with my story, which you will hear. You see, I don't believe anybody should fail. I also believe in loyalty unto death. I believe in it to a fault. Because when you are loyal unto the point of death, you easily cross to your next responsibility. I used to trek from Jakonde here to Lekki Phase 1 to Ghana for people's houses to presenting. They gave me 40 minutes to 45 minutes
to summarize.
How do I tell my story
in 45 minutes? Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite forward Mr. Ubong King. Good. But a lot of people do not know this part, that at the age of 13, my father died when he was 39 years old. I was just 13 years old. And my mom had 5 children. When we were going to bury my father, we found out that my father had a second wife with 4 children. Now, so when we're going to bury him, we found out that we're 9 children, 2 mothers. My mom is an illiterate, my stepmom illiterate, and then they moved all of us to a 3-bedroom flat. Now, when I walk up the staircase, I'll hear pots, plates flying up and down the house. So when I'm entering the house, you need to first do the acid test by putting your hand. Whether a stray bullet or a stray plate will hit it. Now, so if care is not taken, you can enter and a plate hit. So I tell people that Chinese film did not start in China. Actually started in my house. Now, English was not one of my favorite classes because my mom used to abuse me. So education became a problem for me to concentrate in school. So I didn't do well in secondary school, and I went to University of Benin, Ugbowo campus, to study chemical engineering. Fortunately for me, they did not allow me to stay there because I didn't have English. So I missed it in 1989. 1990, I went to LASSO. Because of English, I was dropped. 1991, I went into Unical. because of this same English, they called me to the dean's office, and they said, it is either I do education agric or I do GC again. I told them at all, not bad. So I did education agric. Now, remember I told you that I had a problem with English. These things fall apart was not working for me. Eze goes to school was not the best of my subjects. But now I'm going to be writing about Aristotle, about Socrates, all these philosophers. So it didn't work very well. My mom heard about it. She was not very happy, so she pushed me out, and I was disowned by the family. My mom is the head of the cabal, so anything my mom says is law. So no uncle, no relation wanted to accept me in the house. So I came to Lagos. I was squatting in a friend's house, a friend's shop in Onikewaya. That roundabout called for impressions. There was a fashion house there, so I would stay there, lie down parallel to the horizontal on the table. I use my jeans as my pillow, convert it at night to pillow, daytime, it becomes my trouser. And I will stay there for 3 months. On the 4th month, I will wake up and I'll go back to school because I needed to raise money. That affected my 10 papers, affected everything that I did in school, and it made me come out of Unical with a 3rd class, extra year, and NYSC forgot to post me. So if tomorrow you hear I am minister for business in this country and this NYSC thing happen, remember that I told you here. Remember. So as far as I was concerned, my family called me a failure and nobody wanted to relate with me. My father was God to me. My father was the role model I wanted to be. My father provided for us to the best of his ability. I wanted to grow up to look like my father, to be like my father. It was everything I wanted to be. But by the time he was dying, my father did not tell me anything about life, nothing about family issues, nothing about the bullies in school, nothing about the pains and the work that he used to go through, nothing about power, money, sex, nothing about all the failures he did, how to deal with issues. My father told me nothing about responsibilities. So because of that, I tell people, my father never said anything to me. When fathers and mothers keep quiet today, their children become irresponsible tomorrow. Growing up, I went into Unical. That's my picture when I was in Unical, and that's what I evolved into. So I wanted to grow up and become somebody that will defend what my father had lost. My father, we found out, was poisoned by his brother. Now, because he was poisoned by his brother, my plan was I wanted to grow up, join the military, the Navy particularly, then come back and kill the man. Fortunately for me, I grew up, or fortunately for me, the man died before I could kill him. So by the time I grew up, I couldn't kill him anymore. So the passion for security started then. So I became a security guard in a church because I left Unical with a failure. I served in this church for 3 years without salary. So when somebody gives me 10 naira, 20 naira, once I have 30 naira, I am okay. I look for where construction workers are eating. Note, construction workers eat in places that are different from regular human beings. Because the gari they eat there, once they tell you 6 to 6, be sure it will last 6 to 6. So I go to the woman there and I tell her 3 fingers. That means 1 wrap of gari, 2 wraps of gari, 1 extra without meat. Meat was luxury. Meat was waste of resources. Meat did not do anything in my body. So I needed extra gari to balance the equation. And once I eat that, I will look for unripe pawpaw. Unripe pawpaw will serve as vegetable. It will serve as fruit. It will also serve as meat. After all, it's my eating, not your eating. It's my eating, not your eating. So life was there like this for me because I couldn't squat, couldn't go to any of my family house. I went to a friend's house in Uyo there, and I stayed in his house. Now, staying in his house, I did not know that the woman that was living in the house was not his mother, that his father had chased the mother and married the house girl. So the boys decided to be putting sand in her food. So when the father comes back home from the bank and then goes to have his bath and comes back to eat, what he will find out is that there is sand inside his food. He will get angry, then want to shoot his sons at night. Now, he had 3 boys. So he comes to the room with a pistol, and he sees we are 4 of us. He says that I'm the one indoctrinating his sons. So what happened to me was that the man will wake me up at 2 a.m. and tell me to leave his house. I will go to an uncompleted building and live and sleep in that place. I did not have a problem with any issue. My only fear was let a snake not bite me. Any other thing I can take, but not a snake bite me. So on one of those particular days, after I had cried and cried and cried, I was sleeping, rain was falling, beating me. I heard this song, I Believe I Can Fly, in 1997. That song opened my mind. Everything about me changed after that song. Since 1997 till today, I listen to that song as an act of worship. If they play that song for me here, I will break down and cry. I did not know that that song had entered into my genes, my chromosomes. It reset my brain. There are certain experiences that will touch you. When those things touch you, it will reset everything about you, because I believe that I was not born to be a failure. The flashback of my father, everything that he did, my father was not lazy. So I made up my mind that I was going to make it, even if everybody rejected me. Now, no matter how bad the recession is in the forest, a lion will never eat grass. Never forget that. At this point in time, I had given my life to Christ. I had become born again. I used to go to church. My own was, okay, even if I didn't succeed on earth, at least let me go to the place we go. That was my own prayer point. I had been embarrassed by family. I have seen 99. I had gotten to a position whereby I didn't want to relate with any family. 10 years after my father's death, I went to the church that they were celebrating my father. I got there and I picked up the program. And when I picked up the program, my name was not among his children. They were writing my name there with black ink that morning. How bad can it get? My immediate junior sister was getting married. I was given an IV 4 days to her wedding to come for the wedding. When I got there, I sat at the back. It caused a problem because I was not allowed to come. I had been disowned, so nobody wanted to relate with me. They said that the first son of this man cannot be at the back, so they brought me to the front. Immediately after the wedding, I went on my own way. Nobody escorted me. Nobody asked me any question. So I began to pray. I said, God, if for anything, please favor me. Favor me. Because it gets to a point, I no be me go carry last. Then I locked myself in a locker, and I said, God, favor me. Now, when I asked God to favor me, you know that sometimes you call God on phone, he won't answer you. You will send him text, he won't answer you. WhatsApp, DM, he won't answer. So God now replied me and said, it is not good. Now, how can I ask God for favor? And then he tells me it is not good. Then I checked the Bible, and the Bible says that it is not good that a man should be alone. And I said, not good that a man should be alone. I am asking you for favor. You are talking to me about babe. It doesn't make sense. So he now said to me, he that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor from the Lord. I said, So the mathematical formula became clear to me. That if I wanted favor, I needed to go and get married. Meanwhile, no money. I did not care. So the last scripture that came to me, for those of us that are Christians, he said, 1 shall put 1,000, 2 shall put 10,000 to flight. And me, I'm mathematics inclined. I like numbers. So if A plus B is equal to 10,000, that is man is A, woman is 10, is B. So if 1,000 plus B is equal to 10,000, then what is B? B is 9,000. So if I marry a woman, the woman has 90% of my success inside her. My brother, I didn't need any conviction. I didn't need. That was what convinced me to get married. That if I marry a woman, she carries 90% of my potential. So that was the end of bachelorhood for me. These are my pictures when I was getting married. Now, I did not have money to buy suit, so I used Kosuble, coat plus suit plus blazer. That was what it looked like. That was my wife. Now, when we got, I was squatting. You said I should tell you my story now. It's the one that has become flesh. It's the one. Now, I used to squat in somebody's house at Jaconde here. I used to squat. I proposed to my wife when I was 27 years old, that I wanted to marry her because I was convinced. I didn't get to marry my wife until I was 30 years old. But because I wanted to marry, to get what? Favor. My end point was favor. Favor. So if I needed that favor, but at the end of that day, I got married. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I still did not have a house. I still did not have a house. I really can't explain how she believed in me that much to follow me. In the jungle, the king of the jungle is called the Panthera Leo, the lion. The lion has one thing that distinguishes it. It has a different attitude. The lion on its own reminds me of a lot of things. My responsibility to my family is provision and protection. That's security. I lived in Mayegun. Those of you that know this area, I was squatting in somebody's house. From there, I got promoted to squatting in another person's house in Barra. My first daughter was born in somebody's house. Then from there, I was able to pay house rent for myself, 72,000 naira in Alagbado. The sand in that part is red, not brown like Lagos. So at night, when you hear the firewood, those of you that understand what firewood means, all those illegal people that carry cars, that route, that's where I used to live. From there, I moved on to Owodiaja, the Badore where it is. Now, the Bible says that if a man cannot provide for his family, he's worse than an infidel. I will live in Jakonde here, and I will stroll all the way to Lekki Phase 1. I'll look for anybody's house that needed concertina wire. I will do it. I will tell them how much. I'll price them 132,000 naira. I'll do it for 120. The change I'll give to my wife. Because anything you give to your wife, she will multiply it. That is my belief. So I began to do that. Every time that I go out, I come back. If I have 1,000 naira, I must make sure that I have 500 cash left. That 500 naira became my miracle. I will go to a place that they sell food, maybe like oranges, banana, suya, asun, buy for my wife. I must take something back home. I will never go back home empty-handed. All I wanted my wife to say was, God bless you. Immediately she says, God bless you. I can take that God bless you to God and then convert it into opportunities. Because business first has a spiritual connotation before physical. Once you settle it in the spirit, it's coming down. So following them, you can see that I have not changed. I'm still like Bashandi like this. So this is all. This is what I looked like with my wife. After I'd had 3 children, my passion kept growing. One of those days I'll get you to that part. Let's go. I needed to change my life because the responsibilities were increasing. And then there are 2 things that will change a man's life. One is passion. The second one is profit. Now, passion is anything you can do for free. When I entered this office, I could tell the passion of the leadership. Excellence personified. And I heard a story about him that if he goes to do a project in your house, he gets to the point he can remove his handkerchief and clean the surface before he hands over to you. It's excellence personified. I got into security because somebody killed my father. Your passion is always traceable to your pain. Whatever is your pain, that is an indication where your passion is. So because your passion is to solve that thing that is a problem for you. So because of that, I began to feed my passion. Your passion is what keeps you alive. It's a drive. If you are doing something that is not your passion, you will die easily. Because if they wake you up by 2 a.m. and they ask you what is happening about that project you are doing, maybe that house, that bathroom, that substance you are doing, is it on point? Did they do it well? Did they do it? If you cannot be woken up by 2 a.m. and start thinking about it, it's not your passion at all. It's not passion. It will now begin to frustrate you. So passion is what will keep you alive. Feed your passion. Now, I was working as security guard in Akwa Ibom State, and I heard that there was corporate guards in Lagos, and I saw them wearing uniform. I liked their uniform. I wanted to wear their uniform. My aspiration was not much. My aspiration was still very minchomic, very mundane, very moribund. So I saw a magazine called Security and Safety Magazine, and I had that copy and I read it. I saw the address, number 16 Kadara Street, Oyingbo. I said, okay, no shaking. I took night bus from Lagos because I wanted back edition. And those days, there were these night buses you take, you sit down, and then there's attachment. Now, after attachment, there are those that stand up all through the bus. I was in that category. So when you stand up all through and you get to Lagos, all the blood in your body has gone to your feet. So you need to walk gently for it to go. So I'll stop at Oyingbo and I'll enter into the man's office there. I will buy the back edition. And I began to eat that security magazine. Whatever you eat and you continually eat will eventually eat you up. I did not know that eating that security magazine was eating me up, and was taking all over my mind. I would go to Ojo Elegba. I would buy the magazines from those men that are sitting there. I kept reading Security and Safety magazine. You can see the man on the top right with the cap. His name is Chief Patrick Keku. That is the man I began to see. And I followed Chief Patrick Keku back to back because he had a security guarding company. He had a magazine. I kept reading his magazine. He wrote the magazine. magazine. I kept reading. So the man said, King, leave, will you come and join me? So I became his PA, and my first salary was 5,000 naira. I was not interested in the money. I needed to learn. Whatever made this man rich, I wanted to be rich. I had been rejected. I've been frustrated. I've been pushed to the back of side. I was tired of being at the back. I needed to make it to the top, whatever way I had to do it, but ethically. So from there, I left that company after 3 years, and I joined XMA Alarm Center. My responsibility was to ensure that no attack come to any of my clients at that point in time. I had 2 walkie-talkies in my back. My wife was always very upset because every time when a panic goes off, it is the responsibility of the control room to go there. I took it an extra mile. I would also be there by 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Passion had eaten me up. Security had eaten me up day and night. And that was where I now began to relate with customers, because people about security is personal. If they can see your guards, but if they see you in their house by 2 a.m., they know you take them seriously. So that was how I began to learn about marketing. So if I go to a client's house by 1 a.m., the man will say, didn't you sleep? I said, sir, I got your panic alert. I needed to be sure that you're there. He will say, sit, King, sit down here. Let me introduce you to a few people. I said, sir, any other problem, let me know. So I began to relate with people like that. So from Alarm Center, I moved into Halogen. Halogen, I was recruited as the deputy operations manager. The MD said, no, put him as the deputy operations manager. The person that was my deputy was a retired captain in the army. My MD was a retired captain in the army. The 2 of them were classmates, but I was superior to this one. And then this one took offense that me, a small boy, just barely 28 years old, was his boss. I mean, barely maybe 34 years old was his boss. So he didn't like it. In 1 week, I got a query from my MD that his classmate did not do the escort. When I saw the query, and then they cut my salary by 1/4, enough is enough. They didn't need to tell me to fight back. A week after, when the man messed up again, I stood up, I told him, guy, if you try to get me, I'll sanction you. I took responsibility. I know the fear face. Once I have a responsibility to do, I do it to the letter. I was not interested. I did my security services not out of salary, but out of passion. Paek taught me passion. This man will keep me early from 7 a.m. in the morning. He will return me back home by 1 a.m. I did not have a social life. He said, you don't need a social life now. You will have it in future. I used to swear for him. He's a wicked man. He's a beast. I don't like this man. I swore and abused everything. But today, when the man died, everybody knew that I was his first son. He had 4 boys, but I was the one that buried this man, because the man had turned me from a boy to a man. I believe I can fly. And I left Chief Patrick Eku. He taught me passion. I've been passionate about the job. I came to Alarm Center. Alarm Center taught me technology. From Alarm Center, I went into Halogen. Halogen taught me business of the work. At this time, internet was on. If I go to anybody's place now to do survey, I will carry my phone, take pictures. I will tell them I'm estate surveyor. People do not know I'm security. I'll do my risk report and I'll send it to you online. You approve of it. You tell me I'll come and take over the guard. So I became a problem for a lot of people. My job description was to deploy guards and manage the guards and to provide escort. I was responsible for the growth of Halogen from 1,500 guards to 7,000 guards, because my direct line manager, operations manager, was given 6 months to retire. I was told to retire. I said I will not allow him to retire like that. I needed him to go in flying colors. So when they set a target for him for 3,000, all he needed to write was, King, please treat. It became my responsibility to protect my commander, because when my loyalty became unto death, then value was placed on my life. When your loyalty is not up to death, then you have not started. You cannot be 99% loyal. It's either 100% or forget it. So I became loyal unto death in this matter. I said, no shaking. So I kept going. From there, I joined Excel Africa Group. Excel Africa Group were the people responsible to security in UBA Bank from the merger. So my responsibility was to ensure that the security from UBA and STB was merged as one. My responsibility was to ensure security was good, and I did that perfectly well. After this, I decided to start Protection Plus. But anytime you have passion, and passion alone cannot do it, because passion without motivation is always frustration. Always. Because after you're passionate about something, you must always have fruits for it. If you have passion and is not motivated, then there's a problem. Then I woke up one morning in Excel, and I said I wanted to start my own company. I started my own company as a security company, security, maritime, and logistics. I did not know anything in maritime. I did not know anything in logistics, but in my mind, God had given me that mandate. In 2009, I decided to do it. When I did this, this was my CV when I started work. I had just resigned from Excel management, so into the labor market. No HMO for me and my family. Now, so when my wife was sick, up to the point that she was pregnant at that point in time, I didn't have 6,000 naira to buy Rogan. Those of you that know what Rogan is for people that are O negative. And if she doesn't take that injection at a particular time, any baby she has, it is considered as an enemy to her body. So her body begins to fight it. Because I couldn't buy that medicine, I lost that baby. Her body killed that baby. Now, I had a 5 Series BMW, known as the E69. No, I had a BMW that used to drive me. The 5 Series BM. When we drive on this road, anywhere there's water, that was my agreement with the car. Don't stop anywhere, but stop where there is water, because it will drink 8 liters of water, and then I'll fetch another one. No problem about it. The car had 14 different spirits. The bonnet was from another car. The carburetor was from another car. The tires were from another car. So any day, any of the spirits hold it, it will stop it. I had somebody called Ukwa that used to repair the car. If the car had a problem, I called Ukwa from Ladikbo. Ukwa, please come and sort the car out. Ukwa knew this car so much that it got so bad that Ukwa would tell me the day and the date the car will spoil. So we had a relationship with Ukwa with that car. Now, I did not like that car anymore. I had to sell that car. So I sold the car to Ukwa for 170,000 naira, and I dropped it. My landlord had directed that the agent should kick me out of the house because I didn't know anything. I couldn't pay the rent. Now, I decided to co-locate with a friend, and because I thought he was a brother, let me stay in his office. He agreed to stay, but he charged me 80,000 naira a month. So I did not know that his rent was 600,000 naira a year. 600,000 naira. So if I did my calculation well, that's 50,000 naira a month. So when I pay him 80,000 naira, he takes out 50,000 for the rent. Then his 2 staff will pay 10 naira, 10,000. So pay the 10,000. Then light bill was 5,000. Then 5,000 for fuel. So that was how he used to charge me. I paid this money up to 6 months. I was angry. So I now relocated my office from Alagomeji to my bedroom. I was owing 1.9 million. 2 different policemen, 2 different courts were looking for me at the same time. My wife had just lost a baby. My junior brother had just had an accident. 3 people died in the car. That was my CV, how I started. That was my CV, how I started my own business. The difference between a vulture and an eagle is appetite. They are from the same family. The eagle is actually called the old vulture. But what it eats is different. If every morning you are waiting for Uncle Mike to pay you salary, at the end of 30 days, you are suffering from a vulture mentality. You are suffering from a vulture mentality because you cannot see far. You need to get hungry to hunt like an eagle. You can work in this company, but you behave like an eagle. You don't look for dead food. You look for what projects do you need to take. If the target of this company is 1 billion, how can they build 600 houses in Lekki Ekpe Expressway and then all the bathrooms are not done by IL BAGNO? How can that happen? Because whether they like it or not, they will still fit those places. You need to get hungry and determined to look for where those places are. And I'll show you what I did. Now, an eagle has potential of living for 70 years, but 40 years is standard for all of them. If it wants to live the extra 30 years, it has a ritual it has to take. And that ritual will cost it 150 days. If it says it cannot, all it needs to do is to stay out under the winter. Its blood will freeze and to die. But if it has to change, it will go to the highest rock and stay there. When it goes to the highest rock, remember the eagle feeds on flesh and blood. It will go there and to smash its beak. When it smashes its beak, it will wait for the beak to come out. When the beak comes out, it will now pull all its talons out. The thing that helps it to catch. It will wait for these talons to come out, then pluck all its feathers. Now, this process takes 150 days, exactly 5 months. If after 5 months, these things come out, God help the rat, God help the goat, God help the business that it sees. So sometimes it may cost you pain to transform, because pain is always the down payment for gain. Now, I tell everybody that a lion is not the tallest animal, not the heaviest. So Your excuses do not make any sense. Coming to tell me that you don't have the same degrees as Mike, it doesn't make any sense, because a lion does not have any quality at all. It is just the attitude, because if he sees if he sees an elephant, he sees it as food, and he thinks because this is food, he goes for it. But if an elephant sees it, an elephant runs, because he says this one will attack me. So when you wake up, do you wake up as a gazelle or do you wake up as a lion? The choice is yours. So I wrote on my wall. At the time I was looking for my mates, because my mates were a waste of my time. People lower than me were a waste of my time. I was looking for people that are better. I target people that are better than me to give me access. That was how somebody woke up one morning and said, King, can you provide security from Djibouti to Mombasa? I said, King in Djibouti, King in Mombasa. But yes, I can do the thing. I said, no shaking. So where is Djibouti? I did not know. Where is Mombasa? I found out it was Kenya. They said, we need to do a 15-day traction. I said, no shaking. I called a friend who I met on LinkedIn. I said, boss, there's transaction in Kenya, 150, for 15 days. Can you do the deal? He said, no shaking. He can do the deal for $150,000. So I now told him, okay, this is the deal. And I called the guys and I said that this guy can do the job. He said, no shaking. He will give me my brokerage fee. I said, okay, no problem. I entered this road, this same road. It was go slow. So I was at the go-slow point around that BGC. I got to my house. I had beans and bread, because I've eaten everything with beans and bread, beans and yam, beans and gari. It's only beans and toothpaste that I've not tried, but every other thing with beans I have tried it. So I now ate these beans and coke. Came back to work the next day. On my way back, I now saw a text on my phone that said, King, I have received the sum of $150,000. He said, give me your account. I will transfer the $15,000. I picked my Nokia 3310. God bless that phone. And I said, $150,000 times 150. My phone delivered me. It said, error. For the first time, there was money that passed my head in 24 hours, and I could not explain. $150,000, 24 hours. My own salary in 1 year was 3.4. In 1 day, 22.5 million passed over my head. I said, whatever is in this business, I wanted to learn it. We die here. This maritime, we die here. And I began to do. So, like I said you here, every time you see a lion that has been in the forest, you will see scars on his face. Any lion without a scar is a domesticated lion. There is no general without a scar. Owolabi has scars on his back. The shirt he wears covers the scar. There is no general without a scar. If you are going to be a star tomorrow, get ready to carry some scars. It is part of the applet you must carry. Get ready. So I began to study my competition. Because at this point in time, $15,000 was to be transferred to me, and my landlord was talking nonsense. My laughter changed from ha 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 to the guys in Seychelles that were doing the deal said that they are going to give me 5% of the deal. 5% of the deal. How much was that? $50,000. My brother, I changed name. My name changed from Ubong King to Abdurrahman, Abduraziz, Abdul Karim. I wanted to go and change dollars. I was ready. That's what made me go into this security, maritime. I said, whatever is in maritime, I must find out them. So I began to study my competition, Control Risk and G4S. Control Risk was controlling 70% of the maritime business in Nigeria. They're not Nigerian company. G4S was already dominating. Whatever they are doing, I began to follow it. I began to read their annual report back to back, listen to their strategy, listen to how they do things. And that brought up my first strategy. Whatever they did, I began to do. My first law of success is copy until you become. If I see anybody doing something good, like I've seen this office now, I'm going to build the same thing. Same shape, same size, everything Owolabi has done here, we copy it here. No, I have seen it. I have seen that here. You can't intimidate me. Which I walk. Say, wheresoever the soles on my feet, my brother, we are going to copy this thing. This place is not in Nigeria anymore. Owolabi has rewritten. Please, let's appreciate this man. Let's appreciate this man. Young lions need to be trained too. Every single one of you. You are here as young lions. You will understand that it's not every time you win deals. You'll be attacked a few times. You'll be bruised a few times. You'll be wounded a few times. It is necessary. I carry many scars on my body, many marks. I've been insulted. I've been pushed. In short, insults come with the uniform of a successful person. For that applet, that kaftan you see, half of the design you see is insult. You will receive insult every time. It comes with it. So nobody will tell you that it has been dandy. No way. Pain is the down payment for gain. So as you get through pain, get ready for it. Don't wake up as a gazelle. Wake up as a lion. And I tell people practically that if you were to be in the same lift with Aliko Dangote in Transcorp Hilton for 15 seconds, do you freeze or do you take advantage of that opportunity? That question is what brought me in here. I began to devise strategies on how to take over lions. And one of those days, I saw Mr. Owolabi. 1 million is small money once you begin to practice to say it. Say 100 million. Say 300 million. Say 1 billion. Close your eyes and say 1 billion. Say 1 billion. This person that says it the loudest will have it first. Find babes in this place. If you see somebody, don't use your finance. Your finance is like plantain, it will die. So now that you have it, use it to penetrate into different areas. Find boys like you. Now them they rush us. So you learn to talk to people, appreciate people, learn to communicate, because that will help you for tomorrow. In closing, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, my cousin, the Emir of Dubai, is my cousin. He says that every morning in Africa, when a gazelle wakes up, it knows it has to run faster than the fastest lion. Otherwise, it will be eating for breakfast. He says in that same Africa, when a lion wakes up, it knows it has to run faster than the slowest gazelle. Otherwise, it will not eat breakfast. The moral of the story is whether you're a gazelle or a lion, when you wake up, start running. Start running. You hear me? In conclusion, I am just your boy.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming today. I just want you to expatiate more on how to penetrate.
Every successful person likes to feel important. Feed their ego. Feed it. Feed their ego. Every successful person wants to be appreciated. Start from anything. If you see a lady with a beautiful shoe, say, Madam, I love your shoes. When you start like that, make her happy. Her hair, I love your hair. Your perfume smells. Is that oud or amouage? Once you begin to make them happy, they open up to you. Now, once they open up to you, say, and you have the opportunity to stay like for 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes, always ask them to give you an advice. Once they make the mistake of giving you an advice, they believe they are superior to you. They don't know that their head is just swelling. So just keep feeding their ego. When you feed their ego, you say, Madam, can I call you periodically? Never go to talk to a big person about business on the first day. It is wrong. They will shut the door on you. When you begin to play with them like that, it is them that will now introduce you to their house. I've entered some of their big houses and I sat on a straight line when I saw the chair that they told me to sit on, because I was afraid that maybe they're going to use me for money ritual, a kind of chair that I saw in people's houses. But when you feed their ego and then they're able to give you an advice, tell them, Madam, please, can I call you periodically to learn more? And once they do that, you collect their card, you give them your card, say thank you for an opportunity. Let them make the mistake of replying that text. You need them to reply that text. That text is proof that that is their number and they appreciate you, because they can give you fake numbers. I have 3 fake numbers, 2 original. It depends on who I meet, I'll give you.
A lot of people hear these things that they are motivated, but the fact that they are not as brave, to take on certain things would stop them. So, what are the things that feed your bravery?
Trouble. The only way to come out of trouble is to enter trouble. Until you enter trouble, you won't come out. Until you enter trouble. I hate comfort zone. The problem with Africa is free food. Do you live alone? You live alone. Very good. So you will find out that your planning skills will increase than if you were staying with your parents. Do you have a car? Okay, good. The day you buy a car, you will know mechanic address, you will know fuel, how much fuel costs. Your planning will increase. At that point in time, if you did not used to go to maybe the airport, you drive to the airport more, park your car, your cost. Trouble is the gift of God to man. Bible says it's the present help in time of trouble. So if you want to see God, enter trouble. Enter trouble. How do I retire from a company that is turning over billions and say that another set of people who I don't know their father or their mother to come and run the company? I have to trust God to a fault and then enter it. Yes, you might say I'm brave, but brave is by exercise. I try it small by small. So don't be afraid of trying it, because I don't believe that you would get to this point in this company without being brave. How do you bring this kind of things and say,
what's your morning routine like and your bed routine?
1 hour on YouTube, I listen to motivational people. And the people I listen to include people like T.D. Jakes, Dan Locke, Grant Cardone, Branson. That's my greatest guy now. Russell Brunson. This guy made $3 million in 90 minutes. My brother, 37-year-old boy, 5 children. He made $3 million in 90 minutes. So I spend that time on YouTube. I blast my ears. My ears, between my ears, determine where I'm going to. Whatever you hear determines what decisions you take. That's my morning routine, in the morning and in the night. Because what you hear at night has a way of tampering with your medulla oblongata. It touches your brain. It makes your brain to rewire straight. So in the morning, when somebody tells you that he has a problem of 1 million, because your brain has entered 10 million, you can't feel. You begin to abuse it. Meanwhile, 50 naira is not in your pocket. They will look at you mad. A man with a vision is a madman until the vision comes to pass. When I saw a guy's office like this, I said, now wow. And I heard the story. So create that look. I look for successful people. And somebody asked me yesterday, say, King, I've not been seeing you on Instagram in a while. And I said there are 2 times a lion does not make noise. One is when it is about to kill something. So my quietness does not mean I'm not talking. I'm looking for how to hear what successful people, not my mates, people that have gone ahead. I want to know how Mr. Wallaby thinks. So when I listen to things every morning and evening, no, don't worry. I have more strategies for you. More. Success does not start from 9 to 5. It's actually 5 till the next morning. Rich people are more productive, are more relational at night than daytime. When you think that they listen to you in the day, you have missed it. Can I quote one scripture? In Genesis chapter 1, from verse 5 says, the evening and the morning were the first day. Verse 8 says, evening and the morning were the second day. Verse 13 says, the evening and the morning were the third day. Verse 19, the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Verse 23, the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Verse 31, the evening and the morning were the sixth day. You will never read in the Bible that the morning and the evening. You will read evening and the morning. Productivity starts at night. Implementation is in the daytime. When men slept, transactions were going on. A little sleep, a little slumber. Poverty will attack you. So when I ask you, when is your productive time? I tell me from 7:30 to 5 p.m. I know you're a poor man. So that's how I think. If I see people just rushing after work, you're going to enter go slow for 2 more hours. That poverty mentality. That 1 extra hour, you can use it to sound yourself with intelligence. What do I need? Where is the money going to? There's 8.7 trillion naira that will be spent in Nigeria next year. Where are they spending this money? What projects are they doing? Who are the contractors? Now, once you get that intelligence, follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. What budget is being spent in Lagos State? Who is there? Who are they spending the money with? Follow the money. Follow it. You cannot tell me that they're spending 1 trillion naira in Lagos. They're spending over 1 trillion in 3 hours of journey. 2 trillion naira is, you are coming to report 4 billion in this company. There's something wrong somewhere. It was not so in the beginning. Something is wrong. You have to follow the money. Follow it. You have to follow it.
Honestly, on behalf of everyone, I'm just going to say a very big thank you. We've learned a lot from you. Typically, when we do this, we don't say prayer, but you're a spiritual man. So we're going to say, speak into your life from glory to glory by the mercies of God. As you sow, you will reap. You demonstrate you're not ashamed to show that you lean on God for a lot of things. And he that puts their trust in God will not be put to shame. So as you affirm God, I'm sure he will confirm everything that it is you're trying to do. And that is our prayer for you. Thank you very much for coming. It's just, if menstruation starts with you, you'll see, you have a goat, but you still value all around you. You'll see a value all around you. And then when we need to take a selfie with it.
They are shy to ask questions, but you can tell this time. If I didn't stop, if I didn't make that the last question, we would not have left.
No, but it's good for them to talk out, because
too often. Once you have started, believe me, when you start the car, you can drive it. Once they ask you that question and they be hiding, sometimes you need to even warn them. Because what I wanted to get into them is that they should stop thinking small.
Yeah.
Yes. This already is old school.
Yeah, oh yes, of
Old
course.
school.
Oh yeah.
And they should know that, you see, that the world, the beauty of this side is dependent on them. If I enter my bedroom and I see a beautiful toilet, I can know that it's traceable here. You have it, they don't know. So they have to get into them.
Put the label on full effect. I keep the prayers in motion and they're pulling back. I was boxed in, all the boxes that I couldn't check. And God came through for me, would you look at that? I'm building a legacy out of hobby. I never chased a dream, I designed it. Big crib, you had an echo in the lobby. Boy, I was broke as hell where they found me. Hell is where they found me, I'm past it, I made it. Facts, my haters all plastic, fake. Facts, my family's all happy, I'm grateful, thanks. And all the things I say are all naked. Facts, I hope I get to meet up with my mother when I'm gone. Just to talk about my life and all the hurdles that I won. I ain't saying it was flawless, cause at times I got it wrong. I had nobody to talk to, so I said it in the songs. All I do is go up with the weights, I work down with